Everyone needs a coach in life to help to get you from point A to point B, to help you change your life when you feel stuck, when you feel like you're not maximizing your potential, when you could be more for you and your family. All you need to do is activate your prey drive. This podcast today will change your life because today we have on America's coach, Coach Michael Bert, a super coach. He has helped thousands of businesses and individuals change their life. A speaker at Grant Cardone's 10X conference in front of 10,000 people, endorsed by Brad Lee, Grant Cardone, Tim Grover, and more. Author of 17 amazing books, including Flip the Switch, that will soon become a bestseller, I have no doubt. The #1 leader in the world in activating a person's prey drive. He is the best in the world at getting people and businesses who feel stuck and helping them get from point A to point B. A championship women's high school basketball coach turned world-renowned speaker, author, trainer, coach. He has helped companies and individuals all across the world and thousands more change their lives. Owner of Monster Producer, the single best in the industry in activating people's potential. Today we learn about Prey Drive, Flip the Switch, and Coach Michael Bert's incredible story, and so much more. Coach Michael Bert, thank you so much for being on with us today.
Absolutely. That's a great intro. Thank you for that.
You like that? Wrote that myself, and I failed English growing up. There you go.
I didn't do that great in English either, which is interesting that I've written so many books. It was I had the toughest English teacher who was actually the best, but it's not a subject that I was great at. So it gives hope to people that they can write books and they can go out and speak and coach around the world, even if they weren't that great in English.
Absolutely. People are way more than just their academic numbers on paper. Absolutely.
100%.
Coach, thank you so much. You don't know it because we haven't really spoke, but you have already changed my life just from reading your book, Flip the Switch. Well, we'll talk about that and so much more. I want to dive right into it because we have so much to talk about today. Let's get right into, for people listening and watching, Prey Drive. What is the Prey Drive?
Prey drive is prevalent in an animal. An animal has a prey drive, which is its ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. And when I was 41 or 42 years old, I was at a workshop with a Vietnam veteran. He was talking about his job in the War Dog Division of the Vietnam War, which was to go ahead of the infantry with a dog. The dog's job was to sniff out bombs, booby traps, ambushes. And he kept talking about the animal having a prey drive, which intrigued me. I'm always looking for unique concepts. That's really one of my unique abilities is packaging concepts. So I Googled it. I saw that it was the ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey. I associated it with humans. I trademarked it in humans. And prey drive in a human is a human's ability to see something they want with the eyes or in the mind and to have the persistence and intensity to pursue it. It is an instinct to pursue something. And hopefully that's your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, your potential. You'd be shocked how many people this prey drive goes dormant, latent and undeveloped, never been activated. So I've spent a lot of my time actually reactivating that drive in people.
You talk so much about this in your book and more. I especially love the chapter on the cheetah and the zebra. Love that analogy. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go, but let's continue on this idea here. You are not just a coach and a trainer, you're a super coach. How important is it everybody has a coach in their life?
If you study human nature, the human's nature is to start with good intention. We all have dreams, hopes, desires, ambitions. We all start out of the gate with an intention to do good. Then we fail to follow through. We are not disciplined enough. We get distracted. We have confusion of priorities. Then we contract to a place of comfort and experience guilt. This is a vicious cycle that never gets broken for many people in their life until a coach or someone who is skilled comes into their life and shows them a better path. So they bring awareness, they bring strategy, they bring mindset, they bring tools in their tool shed because they know how to win. Good coaches know how to win. And what they really do is they accelerate the path of other people.
Perfectly said. Amazing. I think people are going to want to learn a little bit more about Coach Michael Bert and your story. We have very similar stories. I coached swimming from 19 years old to 31 years old. I was an All-American swimmer, football player. My dad coached for 40 years in upstate New York. My grandfather was his assistant coach. He was one of the winningest football coaches in New York State history. He was a physical education teacher. We just talked off before we started the podcast. I mean, my dad went to the same college that you went to. He was actually a teacher at the same school that you taught at and you coached at Riverdale. Just so many synergies. So I resonate so much with you. Mm-hmm. As a kid, I was always around athletics. I was blowing the whistle when I was, 4 or 5 years old during double sessions. That's my vacation time during August was double session. So I was on the field. I was training, motivating, teaching, coaching, even at that young age. When you were a kid, were you an athlete?
I was a basketball player and a baseball player. I was naturally better at baseball than I was basketball, but I was a point guard. So I was always thinking, directing, leading. A lot of my leadership capacities were, growing up, all of my coaches said, when you grow up, you're going to be a great coach. I heard that over and over and over. My high school basketball coach called me professor. So, I heard all of these things all the way as a child. And I said, man, when I grow up one day, I want to be a coach. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I started coaching basketball. I like coaching basketball more than I did baseball.
Got it. Well, so when I was young, I remember probably being 8 years old, knowing that I wanted to be a coach, wanted to be a teacher, wanted to be in that world. And question for you, when you were that young, what was it that you were showing signs of to make other people say, you're going to be a great coach? What do you think you were already showing to other people that you were really good at?
I think unique ability is detected very early in life. It's some superior ability that you were given most likely at birth as a birthday gift. It has to be found, refined, leveraged, utilized. And I think what people saw in me was the propensity to encourage people, the propensity to motivate people, the propensity to care about people, the propensity to drive people. I remember as a young basketball player, even when I was a junior, I used to take the freshmen home because I could drive and they couldn't drive. And I would say, man, let me take you to home after practice today. And I would just talk to them about life, success, leadership, character. And so, I started speaking when I was 15 years old as part of one of my assignments. So I kind of had this just unique ability to inspire. Now, fast forward many years, my buddy Tim Story, who's a pastor, said to me one day, Coach, you have an apostolic gift. And I said, well, explain what that means. And he said, well, your ability to reach inside of another person, pull out something great in them, and then inspire them to want to go do that for other people. And that made a lot of sense looking back over my life, is maybe that's the gift that I had, was an apostolic gift, to reach inside of people and inspire them to be better and expand. And that is manifested in books like Flip the Switch. It's manifested in coaching programs. But first it manifested just as a simple basketball coach trying to help a group of 15 to 30 people get to a better place in their life.
Yeah. I modeled a lot of my dad doing that with a group of individuals. And then when I went on to coach myself, I would look at individuals, young athletes who parents would bring them to me. And like you say, my kid has a lot of potential. And we would look at them, and sometimes they didn't even realize the potential that they had. And we'd have to create a system, create a plan, create a blueprint for them to be able to then do that. I want to talk right now about your coaching basketball, because that was a huge part of your life where you built a lot of this. You were from 21 to 31, pretty much, 19 to 31, you were coaching. I know you got I think your job was right on 22. You became the youngest basketball coach in Tennessee, in the state. Here's your record: 221 and 77, 4 conference titles, 3 sub-state appearances, 2 Miss Basketball finalists, 1 class AAA state championship in 2007, and the first women's team in the city of Murfreesboro to have a winning season in over 83 years. Do you remember all those stats?
I do. Yeah. You never forget those, man.
Not
you
so bad,
exactly.
Right? Not so bad.
Not so bad.
So you took them and sorry, go ahead.
Well, I took over a program that was traditionally a football school, and it had a really strong reputation. I took over a women's basketball program that had not won in 30 years a championship, in a city that had not won in 83 years a state championship. And I didn't know any better. I thought
Yeah.
I was just lucky to have a job.
Right.
I didn't think of it as this is a great job or a bad job. A lot of people didn't think when I got that job that it was a great job, but when I left, I had turned it into one of the best jobs in the state of Tennessee. And if
Yeah.
you one stat that's not included there is that the women's basketball team that we built went on to win 7 of the next 9 state championships in the state of Tennessee after I retired. And if I wouldn't have left to go do what I did, which is start a coaching company, then I'm convinced we would have won, 7 to 10 more championships over the next decade.
It's amazing what happens when you put the time in and then it compounds and you leave that legacy and it continues to build. Yep. I totally understand that
Yeah.
firsthand. Why girls basketball?
I actually started coaching boys when I was in college at Middle Tennessee State. I was coaching at Woodbury Grammar School. That's where I started at 18 and 19. And I love coaching boys. But the summer of maybe my 18th birthday, that summer, I thought, I probably need to get some girls experience so I could coach either girls or boys. And my little basketball team at Woodbury Grammar was playing in a tournament at Riverdale every year called the Tomahawk Jam. The head coach there saw me coach as a young man, liked me, and he said, "Man, I've got a team that I'd like to coach in the summer through AAU." And so I took on a group of girl basketball players for that summer, that from mostly from Riverdale and Murfreesboro. And man, they loved it. They loved me. I loved them. And I'm like, man, I really like girls. And then he offered me a job to be an assistant with him at 19 years old. That's how I got into girls and didn't think twice about going back to boys.
Got it. Got it. Understood. Yeah. Once you knew it, that you knew right where you were. So you had a love for basketball.
I had a love for inner engineering. I had a love for building competitive intelligence. I had a love for using sport to teach life. I had a love for building something special. That's really what I had a love for. The coaching, I was a really, really good coach. I was great at X's and O's. I was great at
Yeah.
high predictability of especially offense and offensive systems. I studied, people like Phil Jackson. We ran the triangle offense for the first 3 to 4 years. I was there. Then we ran Utah
Yeah.
flex. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a constant student of great coaches. And then I became a disciple of Stephen Covey at 18 years old, from 18 to 25. And that's really what I was teaching my players, which made me very different than other coaches. I just had a breadth and depth that the other coaches didn't have. And that's not being negative toward them, but I was just studying a lot more than they were. And I
Yeah.
was bringing unique methodology to sports from the business world. And that's what made me different.
Yeah, you were a transformational coach, and you were
Yeah.
doing things in training yourself on things that were higher level than just the next coach next to you. So it created another level for your actual athletes, and you, of course, were going to outgrow that because you were just mentally going places that was really, really special. And I resonate so much with that. Spending so much time on the pool deck. There's no times off in my 20s, learning
Mhm.
everything I could about the science of the sport, mindset, motivation, everything. And then what you realize is there's so many applicable lessons to other things in life. So that takes me to you winning that championship and being 31 years old. And then how did you know? And I'm going to give my own example because I'm going to take some Coach Bert advice here. How did you know at 31, time for me to hang it up? It's time for me to change this path. How did you know that?
There were two things that were happening in my life. One, I had written 4 books. By that point, I was getting a lot of traction in the speaking world. I was getting offered a lot of money from companies to come in and train their people, which was new to me. And I was, to be quite honest, I was tired. I had been going. You got to think, I started really at 18, 19. I had been going to 31. I had been at Riverdale since I was 19 years old. I mean, a decade of 80-hour work weeks, no life, no friends, no kids, no wife. I mean, I was really married to winning. And so at 31, it was like, it's time to move on to the next thing. I felt like a level 10 person stuck in a level 4 vehicle. And it was like, I've outgrown this. I'm ready to go around the world. I feel like I have a message. I'm supposed to write books. I'm supposed to coach companies. I'm supposed to coach people. And so, although I had a little bit of hesitation of retiring, I still remember crying, and I still remember being a little disheveled about what I was going to do next, and feeling like I was going to miss it. And I actually signed up, Michael, to coach the Nike team that summer because I was so afraid that I was going to miss coaching. So I signed up to coach the 12 best players in the state of Tennessee throughout the whole summer as a not the head coach, but as an assistant coach. And I was miserable. I just thought, man, it's time for me to move on. I was unhappy. I was tired, and I was excited about my next move. And I wrote a new book on that called From A to B, and I created a whole program called What's Next, which is kind of achievers who are unclear on what their next move is, and they need a structure. So I wrote a book on it called From A to B that just came out, and then I created a whole coaching program called What's Next for really the achiever who's kind of stuck, that's looking for the next big move.
Yeah. I remember being 31, having been in the pool deck since I was 8 years old. I did a stat the other day. I swam something like in college alone, it was like 12 million laps or 12 million yards, 4,800 miles to England and back. Been in coaching for all this time, and remember being 31, crying on the pool deck on my last practice, knowing, not sad to leave it, but knowing that it was like the last chapter and all these memories had come, but I was ready to take on this next world. Now I'm at a different point where I've built something else for myself in this totally different career. And now I'm looking at a time where, if you've ever seen the movie 300, they say, Spartans, what's your profession? And you feel like, this is what I do. This is my mission. This is my target. This is what I'm ready to go and activate my prey drive to go after.
Yep.
And so I feel like that a little bit sometimes with coaching, training, teaching, and speaking. And I get inspired by somebody like you. And I never know, now I'm at a point where it's not as clear if I should be maybe going to the next level in my real estate business, or maybe taking a detour going towards that. Can you give people maybe people who are in the same position, maybe one or two pieces of advice or triggers or something, and say, like, look, if you do this and you write this down or you think about this, this is going to help open that up for you and make it a little bit more clear?
Well, one of the exercises we do in the book A to B and in the What's Next program is called the fundamental relationship. And that relationship is between your unique skill set. And I would define that as your passion, your talents, your conscience, and a need in the world, and a problem that you are both fascinated and motivated to solve. Keeps you up at night. You're excited about it. It gives you energy. See, when you're trying to get clear over your next move, you got to think of it this way. What problem both fascinates and motivates you? What gets you excited when you talk about it, when you think about it, when you write it out, when you draw it up? And so that when we do the A to B exercise, A is your current position in life and everything that bothers you about your current position. And it could just be, I don't have peace about where I'm at. I don't have a good peace about, it's like I'm unclear and I feel like I should know. B is an ideal state. See, if you ask me what my B is, it's, I'm building greatness factories around the world that are scalable, that kick off passive income. They're commercial real estate plays that are really cool. I have retreat to attack centers around the world that people go to rejuvenate and recommit. My success schools are up and going and are profitable businesses. We have a high performance institute for 18 to 25 year olds that teaches them the habits of the top 1% of performers. It's the ultimate prep academy. That's an alternative to universities. I live at my house in Florida, where I'm at right now, 90 days out of the year. I spend extra much time with my kids per day. I fly private everywhere I go. Like, my B is very clear.
There you go.
And now, between knowing what your B is, because I've done that exercise, A to B, almost every day for a few years. And it's like I get clearer and clearer. Then it becomes not how do I get there, but who could help me get there? Because a lot of times we get stuck in that how, and the who is, okay, who, like, I really enjoy doing this. This gives me energy. I really enjoy doing this. I get excited thinking about this. I don't get excited doing this, and there's certain things that I've been doing for 7 or 8 years. It's like, man, I'm just not excited about doing anymore.
Right.
And it's like, it's time for me to transition to bigger play. So this is part of the Prey Drive Activator, is getting really clear on your B so that it both inspires and activates that prey drive. And you can make a lot of money doing something and still go, you know what? Not quite fulfilled like I think I should be. Quite clicking the cylinders like I think it should be, not quite clicking the purpose button like it should, but I'm doing good. I'm making some money, and I call that a success trap.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah,
And let me ask you this. You obviously have a talent and a passion for speaking
I
to
do.
large groups, speaking to individuals, podcasts. Between the podcast, the large groups, or just on stage, what was it like? And what did you feel when you were on stage at Cardone's 10X conference? Was that probably the highlight so far of the speaking for you? Was that
Yeah, it was a lot of feelings. One, it was a good positive eustress and
right?
anxiety of knowing
Right.
I was performing in front of, because when you get to these levels, it's like, okay, how good am I in comparison to these other people?
Mm,
And it was also the culmination of years of study, codifying, breaking down concepts, and delivering, and then walking off stage and getting the feedback from the audience that, man, I can hold my own
yeah.
with anybody in the world.
Yeah.
I'm a pure coach, and I've spent my whole life coaching people. So other people may be more famous than me, and they may be better at marketing than me. But when it comes to actually coaching people and deconstructing concepts, most of those people would say they would send you to me.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
They would send you to me because they say he's the best at that. And
Yeah.
so I think it was one of these moments of like, um, telling yourself, man, I'm good enough to be here.
Yeah. That must have
It's
been
like winning a
unbelievable.
championship. All those years of working for
Yeah.
winning a championship and standing out there on the championship floor in front of 10,000 people going, man, we deserved it.
Yeah.
We worked hard enough to earn it. This is the physical manifestation of a mental creation that was created many years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of how I felt. And then it validated a lot of things for me. Like, man, I deserve to be playing at the
Right.
big boy table.
Now watch this, everybody listening and watching at home. Coach, how long after you stepped off that stage, got the feedback from these monsters, right, in the industry, looked at the income that you were going to generate from that, and the story behind it is, and everybody needs to go and follow Michael Bert and watch his stories on the 10X and how he got there. It's incredible. How long, when you got off that stage, were you like, what's next?
I think there was a drop off within the next week of like, okay, like that was big. How do you top that?
Yeah.
What's the next move? I mean, it obviously opened doors for me, and that's why I'll always have a positive feeling toward Cardone, because that opened doors for me like you can't imagine. Other
Right.
countries, Dubai, we signed up people all over the world. Obviously, we probably generated, I don't know exactly. We should have actually counted it, but it's been in the millions from that particular presentation through coaching contracts, additional appearances.
Right.
But at the end of the day, man, it just opened doors for you. That's the power of one person, one stage, one opportunity, one key connection. Sometimes a person comes into your life to give clarity. Like I do that a lot for people when they come and spend a day with me. What they walk out of there with is total clarity over their future, which direction to go. That's just a gift that I have. And some people walk out and they just needed to think bigger. Some people open doors for you and create relationships for you that turns into monetization at some point in the future. And that's really the trick of turning that opportunity into monetization. Some people are very good at that. Some people are not as good at it.
Right. Unbelievable. Absolutely. Let's talk about this, because I think this is near and dear to my heart. And a lot of people who are going to listen to this are in real estate or whatever, industry that they're in. So now you've spent this amount of time, decades, perfecting, being one of the best in the industry at what you do, and the best at the prey drive and activating people's prey drive, getting them from A to B. Now you have a family and you have a wonderful wife. And I love how you include her in everything that you're doing. You have a daughter or kids, I believe, multiple kids.
Yep.
How do you balance everything and still be such a great dad? Because I think a lot of people think that they have to sacrifice that.
Well, I think that's part of my because goals. A because goal is a big reason you do something, maybe when you don't feel like it. And I think the way you be a great dad, I've got 2 daughters and 1 son. I've got an 11-month-old daughter, and I've got a 3-year-old son, and I've got a 10-year-old daughter that'll be 11 soon. And what it requires is just work and effort. And, like getting up early, getting up and spending an extra hour in the morning with the kids, or what it takes is a commitment. No different than it takes a commitment to your business. No different than
Right.
it takes a commitment to your marriage. No different than
Right.
it takes a commitment to everything. And I think a lot of people believe that, there's a lot of collateral damage that happens when you pursue big dreams. I believe in
Right.
intentional congruence. I wouldn't say I live the most balanced life. I think I live more of an intentionally congruent life. So, for example, we've been at our house in Florida, here outside of Seaside, Florida, in watercolor. I have my own office here, so I get up and go to the office during the day, just like I would if I'm in Nashville. And then I go home at night and I see my kids and I play. And on the weekends, I'm there with the kids and we do special things with them. And it's a lot about quality. It's a lot about quality versus quantity because I do travel quite a bit. But when I'm with my kids, me and my daughter went to Taylor Swift last weekend in Kansas City.
Yeah, I
It was
saw
a,
that.
a, a magical trip for me and a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And we had some adversity where we had to wait. And we had some adversity where we had to do this, and it was good for us.
Yeah.
It was good for us. She needs quality time with me, and so when you get that, it's just, man, you don't want to pour all your heart and soul into other people and give your family crumbs. And I think that
Mm.
is the problem with the high achievers. They have leftovers for their family.
Yeah. And they get tunnel vision because the high achiever wants something so bad. How do you play with that prey drive? Because this is something interesting too, reading the whole book, Flip the Switch and all your other books and studying you. The prey drive is such a aggressive approach, mindset, targeted, going after it. But it's hard for people to shut it off or to
Yeah.
tame it and win at all costs, get it done. How do you either curtail it? Because you, like you said, flip the switch. What's a trick on to kind of tame some of that?
Well, prey drive has to be activated. And just like you can activate, I'm going to shift into dad mode here. I'm
Right.
going to shift into being a good husband mode. I'm going to activate my prey drive here. Because a marriage becomes stale because they quit pursuing each other.
Mm.
A dad becomes stale because he quits pursuing time with his kids.
Mm.
And I think my prey drive is on a lot, but I operate very much like an artist, like an athlete, like an entertainer. Is because I coach so many people. I do have times that I'm off. I do have times I want to rejuvenate. I do have times I don't want to coach people. I do have times that I very much believe in an entertainer schedule. So I rest, I practice, and I perform. When you study peak performance, the peak performers are just as interested in rest as they are in practice.
Mm.
I mean, because if you look at people that win gold medals or people that operate the highest level, many times
Right.
they're more rested than other people.
Right.
They have clarity of thought. So I very much believe I rest, I practice, and I perform. And when I perform, I want it to be very transformational. I want the time to be transformational. But to get to that level, you need time off. I was watching over the weekend where Jason Aldean had this heat exhaustion when he was playing the concert the other night, so he ended the concert. And no offense to him, but he also said he played golf all day in the heat, and then he come out to perform. And
Yeah.
and I probably wouldn't have said that if I had to cancel a concert,
Yeah. Yeah.
because my thinking was the most important thing of the day was the concert. So don't go play golf in 100-degree weather for 6 hours and then not be able to perform that night for people who pay thousands of dollars to see you. And I like him, by the way, but I just thought that'd be like me saying, man, I played golf all day and I can't speak tonight because I play golf all day, and I got heat exhaustion tonight because I play golf
Yeah.
in 100-degree weather all day. See,
Yeah.
to me, the most important thing is the time with whomever you're with. If that's with me and my wife, that's important time. Me and my kids, that's important time. Me and my audience. See, people pay good money to come from all over the world to either spend time with me or for me to coach them. Like I'm teaching at my lodge this week in Nashville, and man, people will come in from all over the world and pay good money. And I expect no different than when I go to a concert. I paid $3,500 for those Taylor Swift concert tickets, and people thought I was crazy. I actually think I underpaid
Yeah.
for what she did and how good she was and how long she went and what I saw my daughter experience. It was worth a whole lot more than $3,500.
Mm.
So people look at this the wrong way. I mean, my daughter left thinking bigger. She left inspired. She left watching another female play to 75. She had 75,000 customers in a night. So my point is 3,500 was cheap to watch her do that for 3.5 hours.
It's an amazing
Now,
thing to
now
watch an
what if
entertainer.
I got there, Michael, and she said, "Man, I play golf all day and I can't perform tonight
Yeah, she's a
because
little
it's
tired.
hot in Kansas City."
She
And
just put on the
see, I would have been
iPad.
like, "Come on, man!
Yeah,
What's the most important thing here? Most important thing here is your performance
right.
to impact people. That's why you're getting paid millions of dollars. The
Right.
football players getting paid millions of dollars, and they play on a Sunday when it's hot, and they play on a Sunday when it's freezing cold. You were a swimmer, right? Some days you felt like it, some days you
Yep.
didn't feel like it. Some
Yep.
days you wanted to perform, some days you didn't want to perform.
Right.
And that is the difference between a true performer, in my opinion, and other people. So that's my thoughts
Amen.
on that.
Amen. It's amazing to watch an amazing entertainer transform people with their art
Yeah,
and their energy. And that's what you pay for. And that's why it's so special. Let's talk Greatness Factory.
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit
When I-
about that. I love every time we talk about it, but for the audience, kind of give them an understanding of how it started, what it is, and where you're going with it.
The Greatness Factory started as something I used to say when I was a high school basketball coach. When moms and dads brought their kids to me, and they would say, "My daughter's got a lot of potential. She just needs something," and I would say, "Thank you for bringing your daughter to the Greatness Factory, where we are going to manufacture her greatness."
Hmm.
In the body and the mind and the heart and in the spirit. And many years later, in 2016, I started having a vision. It's like, man, I should build somewhere where adults can go. Where do adults go, no matter where they live, when they want to become great? They can't go to the YMCA. The church
Nope.
is not equipped to help them with their potential. They go to a conference, they get activated, they go home, and the prey drive goes dormant. So it's like,
Hmm.
what if I built a place that people could work, they could learn, they could grow, they could connect. And it's the ultimate exchange of where inspiration meets execution.
Yeah.
It's where you can train, it's where you can send your team, it's where you can go personally to work every day. It's an environment that will activate your prey drive. There's auditorium, there's podcast studios, there's dream and incubation spaces. The space is just going to inspire people when they walk in the door. Like, I'm in an office here that I rented in Florida. It's dull and boring.
Yeah.
It's got no life and
Yeah.
energy. There's no motivation going on. It's like, if I don't bring it with me, it's not here. Well, the
Okay.
Greatness Factory, it'll be there when you walk in.
Yeah. You can't help but
You'll
be
want to be great.
inspired, motivated. Yeah. Yeah.
You'll want to be
Absolutely.
great. So
That's
that's the Greatness Factory. It's about a $7 million project. It's being constructed right now. I checked on it before I was leaving. The offices are going up. People are renting offices, shared
beautiful.
space,
Beautiful.
and they get access to coaching and training and development. When I'm there, I'm going to lead sales meetings. So imagine all the members coming together on Monday mornings for a sales meeting with me.
Hmm.
And that's just a perk of being a member. So that's the Greatness Factory, one place where you can manufacture your greatness.
And there's a chance that could be franchised out and maybe come to Connecticut or something like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%. Once we show proof of concept on the first one, once it gets up and going, once we show it can be a commercial real estate play on its own
Yeah.
without me, and that and I'm 100%. I 100% believe we could open them right now before opening the one in Nashville.
Sure.
The one in
Right.
Nashville is taking longer because I built it from scratch. It's
Sure.
much more expensive than a franchise model. I'm convinced, based on quantum level thinking or quantum leap thinking, that we could have 10 out there right now. I'm thinking we could have 10 franchises right now of a Greatness Factory.
I have no doubt.
The financial advisors tell me that they would rather see me get one going, but I don't think you need one. I mean, WeWork's got spaces everywhere. Industries has got spaces. Spaces has got places everywhere. They're opening up all over the country.
Yeah.
So it's not like we need proof of concept for it to work. We know the model works. It's just going to be different and better than the other ones.
And look at the people who you hang around with. You have people around you that do 10x big thinking things with a thought and the vision, and they go do it. They don't worry about the little stuff. They just go make it happen. Absolutely. I want to talk from here for the rest of the time on Flip the Switch. This is going to be a bestseller. Everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching, you need to pick the book up, buy it. The bonus with it is when you buy it, then you can go to Coach Bert's website, put in the code, and you get some great bonus stuff on there, like the Masterclass and going over each chapter. I am, as you can see, immersed in this and everything that is Coach Michael Bert. Let's talk Flip the Switch. This seems like your 17th book. This seems like something that is a kind of an all-inclusive in everything that you've done so far put together in one. Is this one of your best pieces of work?
It is my most comprehensive piece of work. It took me longer to write this book, about 2 years. I really studied from 41 to 40. I'm 46, 45 on nothing but prey drive. What activates it? I took the top 20 motivational theories. I deconstructed those theories. Really, I say my theory of motivation is that nothing happens until the prey drive is activated.
Right.
And I am asserting that a human has a prey drive. There's phases to this drive. There's activators of this drive. And the whole book is really trying to get you to understand how to flip a switch in your life and just literally freaking take off to another level in life.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called to achieve a freakish level of success that only people dream about. That's really what the book is about.
There's so many amazing chapters in this book. We're going to link we're going to put the link down below. Everything for people to click on, to go to check it out. Just one more quick thing. All the work that you put in for businesses and individuals, give some more information to people on what it is that you actually offer. I mean, you've done amazing things for very large corporate businesses. People can learn about those stories. We only have a certain amount of time with you. That's why I'm trying to go fast, because I could be on this for 7 hours with you and dissect everything, but we only have a certain amount of time. What is it that you can offer people, not just through the book? They should get the book. They should do the masterclass. But what else do you offer as far as coaching?
You know, I'm a real coach. So some people come to me and say, I want to spend one-to-one time with you and I want to get clear over my next move. We deconstruct their strategies. We look at what they're doing. I put them through a number of techniques that I use. I just did this with the CEO of Yesley Water last week. I'm doing it with the CEO of Mammoth Roofing coming up in just a few weeks. So we get a lot of requests for me to spend time with people, just helping them get total clarity of their future, reactivate their prey drive in some cases, or help them package their intellectual property. So that's one way people can do business with me. The other way is we have boot camps that people can engage with, where I teach them at my lodge in Florida. We have days where we coach 5 people at a time. What we really do is just spend time with the person, listening to what they're trying to do, and then we make a recommendation to the best program for them. So we have starter programs, that are weekly programs that people can get involved in, all the way up to very advanced high-level programs. And I mentioned the What's Next, which is high achievers that are in a mastermind every month that I lead.
Right. Beautiful. There's something for everybody. And again, people can go on your site. The site is at coachbert.com, www.coachbert.com. His website is extremely detailed on more about Coach Bert, the programs he offers, the events. Check out his Instagram at Michael Bert, and that's MichealBurt, spelt a little bit different. Check that out, and then check out his YouTube. He has a ton of videos and a ton of content on there, and that will start to activate your prey drive to then want to follow up. And please buy this book. It is absolutely phenomenal. Coach, you have a big event July 28th, also September 29th and September 30th, correct? You have something with Andy Elliott that you're doing over there. Do you want to plug that a little bit?
Yeah, coming up, I teach. I have several events. I've got events coming up at my lodge. You can see at coachbert.com, where I do boot camps. I mean, I'm flying back to Nashville this week to do one on tactical connection. I'll be doing person of interest. I've got a low ticket event called Purpose to Profit on the 28th, and then that's a virtual event. And then if you want to see me and Andy Elliott and Tim Grover, which I think is an incredible lineup, that's going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, or Fountain Hills, Arizona, September 29th and 30th. And that's me, Elliott, and Grover. And that, that's going to be an incredible 2-day business boot camp where you get the best of three guys out there who all have their unique style, who all have their unique capabilities. And it's like going to a concert and seeing 3 of your favorite artists together. So
my gosh,
to me, that's going to be something people do not need to miss.
Incredible. And we will absolutely link that up. 2 quick questions for you. How do I get on Super Coach Airlines? How do I do that?
Typically what we do is there's times that we actually sell packages where people travel with me.
Sure.
One is called Retreat to Attack, where you actually fly with me from Florida to Nashville. Then we spend 2 days together at my house in Florida. That's one way to get on Super Coach Airlines. Sometimes people buy packages where we include people for them to go with us and just fly with me. And, sometimes just being in the network
Yeah.
If I'm flying somewhere, we'll just look at people in our network and go, hey, man, why don't you fly with Coach?
Yeah. Being in that proximity, being in that environment, like you talk about in your book. Absolutely. Also,
Yeah,
how
that's
do
a
we,
cool activator or prey drive, number one, and it's a cool way to mastermind, number two, because we have great conversations up there.
oh, I bet they're incredible, invaluable conversations, knowledge, and inspiration, I'm sure. How do we
That's
get
it.
Coach Michael Bert to Connecticut?
I think we just gotta, if you're working with Brittany Hall, you just tell her, man, we want to bring Coach to Connecticut, and
Brittany Hall is great.
either we look, yeah, we look at what you're doing. I actually just booked for me to come to Portland, Maine. I'm coming to Portland, Maine in August to do a real estate event. I'm doing something in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, so I'm getting up there on the
Mm,
East Coast
okay.
for some things, and then we just look at how many dates do I have available.
Right.
That's the
Right.
big thing, is finding a date that's available for me to get there. But yeah, I would love to come to Connecticut. It's been a minute since I've been to Connecticut, and whether we do an event together or whether we do something together, I'm definitely always open to meeting new people and making it happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have stayed through. I'm sure you have stayed through these 40 minutes with Coach Michael Bert, because if you did, you have probably already started transferring and changing and transitioning and changing your life already just from listening to this. Flip the switch is the first step for you to get into the proximity of everything that Coach Michael Bert is about. Read it, listen to it, then go to the masterclass. And I challenge you not to be intrigued. I challenge you to not have that activate your prey drive and for you to want more from Coach Michael Bert. Follow him on Instagram, follow him on YouTube, check out his website, buy the book. He is absolutely amazing. Coach, thank you so much. This has been an amazing time.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for digging into my work. That means a lot to a guy who writes books, to know that you're a student and you're hungry and you're humble and your background is very similar to mine, and it's amazing that we've reconnected here after your dad actually coached at
Yeah.
Riverdale and went to
Yeah.
the same university I did. So,
How about that?
what an amazing story.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing synergy. I can't thank you enough for already changing my life and helping me move into this path. And we will speak together soon. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, Leaders of Lifestyle Podcast, Mike Ferraro, Coach Bert, the super coach. Take care.